Welcome friends. In this video, let's discuss about tribe and family and religion and gods of the Aryans during the early Vedic period. So here, the basic unit of social structure was kinship. Here the kinship is the bond between the blood relatives and social relatives sometimes. So here, the identification of an individual is made through clan. So what is a clan? Here, several families constitute together to form a lineage. Okay, several family constituted together to form a lineage, and several lineages together constitute a clan. Okay, clan a kin group. Clan is a kin group. Okay, here let's look at some of the tribes which were used. Some of the terms which were used during the early Vedic period. These include the Jana, that means the tribe. So these terms will be very important from the prelims point of view. Please be careful while listening. Okay, here the Jana is called tribe. The Jana is divided into different groups called vis. Okay, subdivisions vis. This vis is divided into small groups called grama. Okay, so this grama is divided into kulas, the families. The head of the family is kulapa. Okay, so several families constitute together from a grama. Several grama constitute a vis. Okay, so vis constitute the final top entity, that is called jana, that is a tribe. So this is the terminology. And the tribal society of the early Vedic period was divided into three important groups, that is priests, warriors and commoners. Here the priests perform the specialized function like ritual activities, performing sacrifices and prayers for the kings and commoners. Okay, here the main occupation is to perform sacrifices. Second important group is warriors. Their main duty is to protect the people from enemies and cattle raids. Okay, so their main duty is to protect the people. Third is commoners. They do their day-to-day work, and also they contribute voluntary taxation to the king called bali. Okay, so here the voluntary, it is a voluntary contribution, but in the later Vedic period it became mandatory. Okay, next important point is that when two gramas clashes, that is called sangrama. That's where the word war comes. Okay, sangrama, that means war. When two grama clashes, that leads to some grama. Okay, so if we look at the family structure, that was a giant family. Okay, giant family, large family structure was present at that time. It was patriarchal, that means male dominated. Okay, patri means father, archal means authority. Authority of the father is preeminent in the early Vedic period, that is early Vedic period family structure. And here no Gotra exogamy was followed, unlike later Vedic period that I am going to explain later. And here the status of women was fair enough, because women could attend assemblies and offer sacrifices with their husband. Okay, and they had equal rights in taking part in various decision making activities in the sabhas and samiti, and also in performing sacrifices with their husbands. In the later Vedic period, they were delegated to minor position, secondary position, because of their social status. Okay, so the traces of polyandry matrilineal setup. Polyandry means a woman having many husbands. Okay, a single woman having many husbands, and matrilineal setup means women dominated families levirate were found. These were not widespread, even though some of the examples were present. These were not widespread. And most important thing from the examination point of view is that child marriage was not found during the early Vedic period. Please remember, it was not found. It was the character of the later Vedic period. So if you look at the social division, it was divided into priest, tribal chief and people. Here slaves were also present at that time, but slaves were given to priests as gift. Okay, so here the women slaves were major here, because women slaves were used for domestic purposes. Please remember, slaves were not used for agriculture purposes. Plus, if a question comes in the prelims that slaves were used in agriculture during the early Vedic period, that question is wrong. Okay, that question is wrong. Please remember. And here the differentiation based on the occupation started in a rudimentary stage, but division was not sharp as we see in the later Vedic period, and the occupation was not hereditary. A person's profession was not hereditary. We have a poem in the Rig Veda called "The Doctor Performs the activity of the father is a doctor and son is a poet. So in a family different professionalists were present, but it was not the case during the later Vedic period and during the Purana age, because the family the occupation is tied to a particular caste. Okay, so a person must profess the say that occupation except none. Okay, so here but still, tribal society was large and egalitarian. So, if we look at the religion and the Rigvedic gods, Aryans personified the natural forces. They give the human and animal form to the abstract things like rain, sun, moon, mountain, river, and fire. Okay, they looked upon them as living beings and gave them human and animal attributes. So this is the meaning. Here you can see Agni, the fire god, is given the form of a human being with four hands. So that is the personification of the natural forces. Here, this is the greatest god of Aryans, Indra. Okay, Purandara. Okay, so the most important god is Indra, called Purandara. That means breaker of forts. So he is considered as warlord. When Aryans wages war was going to wage war against other tribes, they invoke Indra to win the war. So he's called Purandara, that means breaker of forts. The name itself shows. Okay, so he was the famous god during that period, and 250 hymns were devoted to him in the Rig Veda. Okay, so the more maximum number of hymns devoted to Indra. The next important god is fire god Agni. 200 hymns were devoted to him, and he acted as a kind of intermediary between the god and the common people. Here, if you observe, when a yagna or any sacrifice performed, they perform Agni sacrifices, like they set fire, and the fire and the smoke reaches the sky. So it acts as an intermediary between the people performing the yagna and also the god. It transfers the wishes of the people to the god, okay, through the medium of Agni. So that is the idea here. And Varuna is the personification of water. He is upholder of the natural order. So in the later Vedic period, we society was divided into four broad divisions, that is Chaturvarnashrama, that is Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. So everybody had to follow their duties, rights, and obligations. If any group does not perform their duties, then that is considered as imbalance in the natural order. So at that time, Varuna takes the call and restore the natural order of Chaturvarnashrama. Okay, so that was the idea. So he was the upholder of natural order, not the Agni. Varuna is the upholder. Okay, please remember. And we have god on the drinks also, plants, Soma, god of plants, and an intoxicating drink was named after him. That's called Somarasa. Okay, so here the Maruth personification of storm was also one of the god. And so the female divinities, that is Aditi and Usha, which personifies the appearance of dawn, was also mentioned in the Rig Veda, but these were not of prominence when compared to the Agni, Indra, Varuna, and Soma. Okay, so the mode of worship is recitation and prayers, offering of sacrifices. The reason for worship of these Aryans to this god is that they did not worship for the spiritual upliftment or to get liberty from unending cycles of birth and death and to get moksha. So these were not the main motive of our worship. The main motive for worship is to get praja, for materialistic things, like to get praja, that is children, pashu, cattle, okay, food, wealth, health, and other materialistic needs. The materialism was the main motive for the worship of the early Vedic Aryans, not the spiritualism. Please remember, this is an important point. So thanks for watching. In the coming video, I'm going to cover the later Vedic period. So please share this video if you want this to continue, and please help me in reaching more people. So I cannot connect all the people, and please do this. This is my Facebook page, www.facebook.com/UPSC General Studies. Okay, so you can type this URL, that is facebook.com/UPSC General Studies, or the link is provided in the description box below, and like that page. I'm going to release mock questions on that, and also provide recent updates and important article links on that site.